Alright guys, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about some very important stuff regarding college access codes and textbooks that are online. So I actually made a video like this a few months ago. I wanted to talk about things and get you guys' opinions and hear what you guys had to say about it, and a lot of people had a lot to say about it. So, the situation is kind of even worse than I thought it was, because I made that video from my own experience and kind of things that I'd seen on my own campus at the University of Oregon. But after hearing people from all over the country and even actually all over the world, this problem is really, really bad, and it's affecting literally everybody. It doesn't matter if you're rich, poor, in between, whatever it might be. It's a huge scam, and it's literally like a corrupt system. So we're gonna look at some of these stories from you guys in the comments of that last video. If you do wanna check that out, I will link it in the description down below. If you wanna watch that first, come back to this. But we have some unbelievable stories that just show how corrupt some of these companies are that are doing online homework and online access codes, and also some of the universities that are kind of buying into this for whatever reason. I talked many times before, the universities don't need to accept these services. They don't need to push this on the students, because there are many systems that allow them to give out homework for free, such as a teacher actually writing their homework and just copying it and giving it out, or writing their homework and scanning it onto a computer. It's not that hard. I could literally show a teacher how to do that in a matter of an hour. So, but that was the last video. We talked about a lot of those issues. Today we're gonna be looking at some of the issues that you guys have shown and just how corrupt it all is. There are so many different stories, it's unbelievable, but let's dive right into it. All right, so I will pop the comments on the screen here. They might be kind of small, but I will read them out loud and then talk about them after. This comment really just sums up everything and makes me so angry that this is what's going on. So let's just get to it. So this person says, "It's ridiculous. Just this semester alone, I'm having to pay $500 for access codes just to submit assignments, and I almost never read the textbook. Last semester, I had a class where the professor literally said in the syllabus that if we don't purchase the Pearson MyMathLab, which is about $120, that we would receive no higher than a D in the course, despite the total worth of the assignments on that platform being only 10% of your total grade." And there's a little more. "That doesn't even include the course fees. This semester I'm taking 6 classes, and there is a management fee, an upper division course fee, an online course fee, a tuition differential for the program I'm in, an additional $10 per credit hour, regardless of whether the class is actually part of your degree or a gen ed, tacked onto each of the same classes." That one is just an absolute mouthful because of how much is wrong with it. But let's start with the last sentence of the first paragraph. "You can receive no higher than a D in the course if you don't purchase a $120 access code, despite the assignments from that only being 10% of your grade." I don't understand what's going on there. If that's not showing that someone at the university, maybe the professor, maybe the department, is benefiting from this, I don't know what does. Why on earth would you force your students who might be struggling financially in a big, big way to purchase something for $120 in the first place, right? That sucks. But if you don't want to purchase it, say because it's 10% of your grade, you should be able to make that decision. Money is a big problem for a lot of people in college, and surely the professors understand that, or do they not? Because when you do something like this, it just makes you wonder, do they not care? How much money are they getting from this type of thing? How much money is the department getting? Is someone forcing the teachers to do it? That's absolutely despicable. And it's just gross that the university or whoever is in charge of this decision would say you can't get higher than a D, even when it's worth 10%. So you could get 100% on your test, 100% on a quiz, writing assignment, whatever it might be. And just because you didn't want to do the homework and pay $120, no, you're basically failing the class. Whoa, that's unbelievable. When you go into a test, if you know that, you only need a 50% to keep your A in the class, and you just don't really care, you're allowed to just do terrible on the test for half of it, only get a 50%. There's no monetary value tied to that, but when there's a monetary value tied to it, you have to do it or else you're gonna fail. Where does that come from? It just doesn't make sense. This one is from Luke Fernandez. "Calculus 1 is making me pay $120 for the access code in community college. This is so scummy. I pretty much am paying $120 for 10% of my grade, which is homework. It's a 4-month code. It's for the 8th edition of Stewart's Pretty Sure He's Dead book. My father has the 6th edition of this book without the code. Funny enough, most pages are identical. I don't need the book, I need the homework. I could code an answer checker for my teacher if she really needed it for free on my personal server. Cengage, Pearson, which are all these companies that provide the access codes and online textbooks. You all need to crash, or you all will crash and burn. It's just a matter of time. Professors, please, for the sake of the students, don't follow the sick ways of these monsters. Find free PDFs. Just another college student pulling from his life savings to cover textbook fees. So that, as you guys can see if you go to the video and look at my response, like that just sums up so much of what I was talking about. Because one, like if you're going to community college, you're there because it's probably a huge benefit to you financially. It's not quite as expensive as a university or whatnot, or a private school. And of course that's important, like you need to worry about your finances. So if you're going to community college, that's awesome, and you're trying to be more cost effective, you're trying to worry about these things. And then all of a sudden, you're gonna have to pay $120 for your textbook. That's not necessarily new, like people have to pay tons of money for textbooks all the time. But again, if you're at a community college, things should be, factored differently so that you don't have to do that. But the issue isn't even that. Who cares about the textbook? We don't want the textbook, as he's saying. It's for the homework, 10% of his grade. That's not that much. Why are you paying $120 for 10% of your grade when, as he says, once again, he could literally make a system that's an answer checker for his teacher. Like, these things are not that hard to do, which makes me wonder, why are the teachers doing this? And I said it before, but are the teachers really just that lazy? Because I have teachers that do have their own systems or use free systems that are already provided by the school, and it works just perfectly fine. There's no issues. It's basically the same type of learning process as when they make us pay for these codes. So are they just being lazy and not doing it? Are they making a deal with these people? Because I say it again, teacher to teacher, I've had a business class 316 where we used in-school stuff, no extra cost for homework. And I had a business class 317 where we did use it. So clearly it's not like a, subject-wide thing, or it's not an organizational thing. If one class so close together, so similar, is using it and the other isn't, it has to be like teacher to teacher. So are the teachers getting some sort of benefit from this? As in a monetary benefit? I don't even know if that's possible or legal. Probably isn't. I mean, this shouldn't be legal. So there's just tons of loopholes in that stuff. So you have to wonder, like, there's some corrupt stuff going on behind the scenes, and we know that all the time. There's always stories coming out. And another video I actually made about this subject where a teacher exposed this whole scam at Arizona State University. He literally quit his job because it was so corrupt, and he was kind of exposing just how corrupt everything was. I made that video, but that shows, like, people aren't just being transparent here. Now, this comment is definitely a bit more on a conspiracy side, so there's no backing to it from what I can see, but it's just fun to read anyways. This person says, McGraw Hill is giving at least $6,000 kickbacks to department heads to sign up to use their textbooks. McGraw Hill is extremely corrupt, and any professor or department head that uses them needs to be removed from their position. So that just shows up people's frustration. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And if there is any backing to that, like, why on earth are they getting money for making us pay even more money when we already pay so much money to go to school? Like, it's just all about money. So this one is from Joe March, 100% true. I managed my fall semester with PowerPoints, notes, free PDFs, the older versions, and still got an A. But this semester, my physics course needs the code, and I have to buy the whole textbook for the sake of doing the homework. And it's really expensive for me to get. It's totally frustrating. And that's just plain and simple exactly how everybody's feeling. Like, we can get by without their online textbook. We don't need it, okay? So we're gonna be fine with the PowerPoints, the notes, whatever we wanna take in class, memorizing things. It's fine, we can still get good grades. But then when you come to a course that forces you to buy the textbook and the access code for doing homework, doesn't matter if you don't want the textbook, if you're fine without it. You have to buy it to do your homework. There's no way around it. All right, this person went pretty hard with their comment. Again, some accusations, which I love it. I think it's good to call people out for it, but again, it, maybe a little bit over the top. We'll just have to see. Let's read it. So this is from, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation here, Zia. Anyways, I think these online homeworks and textbooks don't really help you learn. Like, literally, I'm taking a winter session accounting class online, so I can graduate on time. I paid for it, the whole class is online, literally the whole textbook doesn't help at all. You read the textbook, or you can read the textbook and still not understand what's going on, which I totally agree with. Half these textbooks are terrible and don't really relate to your class anyways, but let's keep going. And the videos that the website posts for the homework doesn't really help you learn either. It's like they just give you the answer, but they don't explain how to actually do the problem. So when the exam comes, you just don't know what to do. I feel like the companies or the rich elites do this on purpose so that people don't graduate and don't get jobs. It's completely ridiculous. And I have to agree, like, there's people that are at the top of these things that surely know that this is not helpful and it's not making people better. Like, it's just a money grab. And you have to wonder, like, are they just laughing at all of us, just thinking like, oh my God, they're so stupid having to buy this stuff and we're able to get away with this? Some people are, surely. And then when you talk about what he said earlier with that it doesn't help, like, it literally doesn't. I can think of very few instances where I've ever been doing homework or reading from the textbook and then I get to the test and I'm like, oh, thank God the textbook taught me how to do this or whatever. Like, the examples are so different, they don't correlate to the class, which is why it's very important that you listen to the teacher teaching what they are going to be doing, what they're going to be showing. Because if you're just following the textbook and then just trying to show up to class and do it, the examples are so different, the processes are so different. Half the time, your teachers will tell you they want it a specific way or else you still won't get points. So why are we being forced to use these textbooks when they don't even apply to our classes? And this one just sums up exactly the way I handle a lot of this stuff. So this person says, this semester I'm taking microeconomics rather, and the bookstore is charging me $208 for our textbook and access card. But I can rent the same exact textbook from Chegg for $28. It just won't come with the access code. So I emailed the professor saying if it would be acceptable for me just to buy the textbook alone. His answer was, the homework is 10% of your grade. And he says that's the only thing that the access code will be used for. If you don't mind losing that, just do well on everything else and it will be fine. And I'm debating whether it was worth it or it is worth it or not. So essentially, it just comes down to how well you think you can do in the class. So as a teacher, why would you not sit there and think, that's terrible? They're telling me that for $28 they can get the textbook that I want them to learn from, but the homework is just behind an extra $200 paywall. That's fine. Who thinks like that? Who's not thinking like, that's messed up? Especially if you think about how many of my students are doing this. They're gonna be paying what? If I have 100 students in this class, 200 times 100, $20,000 for one class. How are you not thinking, let's save those students money. Let's help them out. What is happening with these teachers to not think for a second? Wow, I can make a big change in a lot of students' lives just by writing my own homework, and I can reuse that homework for 10 years to come. Don't even have to redo it every single term. But no. And then you wonder if it's not the teachers, it's the department, and it's just a money grab. Doesn't make sense, man. But that is gonna wrap up the video. So we ran through some comments there, showed you guys what other people are saying. So exactly like I was feeling. Some cases even worse, like these people talking about $200 textbooks, $500 for a term, for 6 different ones, whatever it might be. Some people saying they can't get higher than a D. Like, the problem is widespread and it's much worse than I thought, which just shows the extent of this corruption and how much of a scam it is. Like, it's unbelievable that these access codes cost so much and that so many people at the top or in the universities are backing it. Why would you back it? Where's people's sense of like wanting to help their students do better? Or even if it's not a student directly in their class, like your department head or whatever, you should still be caring about, you know, the people at your university and wanting them to feel comfortable about being here, trying to help them out. So this whole thing is backwards, and I mean, I don't know how it can be changed because, you know, I try to make these videos just to talk about it. Do I think, you know, it's necessarily doing anything? A little bit. It's just kind of spreading awareness, and that's what you need to do. You just need to talk about things, because if no one talks about it, then you'll have plenty of problems that will never go away. So I figure if we can all talk about this stuff, maybe eventually someone catches on, another person catches on, it spreads, who knows? But this is backwards and it needs to change. It's a huge scam and everybody's tired of it, and it's only just begun. It's probably going to get a lot worse, which is just terrible and sucks. But if you guys did enjoy, please do drop a like, consider subscribing. There will be more videos about college and other fun things in my life, a little bit more upbeat than this on the channel. So do subscribe and follow me on social media. It'll be on the screen and in the description down below. But yeah, that's probably gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later. Peace.